All right, we are in our sentence combining workbook, and we are using the conjunction until. It is right before page 87. So go ahead and take a look, get to this green page. This is a pretty cool conjunction because until is only a 5-letter word, but it can take the place of many words in a sentence, and you'll see that as we do some examples together. So as with all of our pages that we work on, I point out that the word conjunction means to join. And we have that root right there, junct, that means join. And we're joining ideas. So we're going to take sentences that couldn't stand on their own, but we can also combine them together, and it makes our writing diverse, and it doesn't make our sentences sound the same every single time. When we use the conjunction until, it's because it means up to a certain time or event. So idea 1 and idea 2 are connected because you can do something or you can't do something up until a certain time or event. Remember, it's always going to be a subject, a person, an animal, that is doing something. So that's what our predicate's going to be about, right? It can also tell us when something changed or will change. So let's take a look at this first example here. I want you to imagine that this first sentence says, I watched TV. I stopped when dinner was ready. So I watched TV is the first idea. And then we know that someone stopped watching TV, or this person stopped watching TV when dinner was ready. I told you earlier that the conjunction until can take the place of a lot of words in a sentence, and it's actually going to take the place of all of these. We could get rid of all of these, actually not this one, but up to here, because the word until means up to a certain time. So we don't need to use the word stopped or when. So we can say, I watched TV until dinner was ready. Okay. Our second sentence says, he can't go. He has to wait until his sister gets home. So these are two sentences that can totally stand on their own, but sometimes we want to combine our sentences so that things are less wordy. And until means up to a certain time. So he can't go up until the time that his sister gets home. So we can get rid of some of these words. He can't go. He has to wait. He can't go until his sister gets home. Let's see. There we go. He can't go until his sister gets home. So he has to wait to go up to this time that she gets home. All right, and there's a third example. The store doesn't open until 10 a.m. So this might have said the store isn't open, and then the second sentence might have said the store opens at 10 a.m. So we would have to change some of the tenses of our words, okay? Let's do a couple examples together on page 87. And I'm going to use a Post-it, like a sticky note, just to kind of start to cover some words so that we can kind of play around and see which words we won't use because the conjunction until will take the place. So here's our example. We played outside. We stopped when it got dark. So I might cover up a little bit and think, how could I replace this with until? We played outside. Oh, there we go. Until it got dark. That makes sense. That tells me that up until this point, we played outside. So let's take a look at example 1. You can stay up. You have to go to bed at midnight. So you can stay up. You have to go to bed at midnight. We want to use the conjunction until. Let's see. If we cover up some of that, you can stay up until at midnight. I think we're even going to be able to cover up a little bit of this. You can stay up until midnight. So up until this certain point. So we get the same point across, but with less words, and by using a conjunction. Sentence number 2. She didn't retire from teaching for a long time. She retired when she was 75 years old. This is a really lengthy 2 sentences, isn't it? So she didn't retire from teaching for a long time. And I could tell, not retiring until you're 75 years old, that is definitely a long time. So I'm thinking that I probably won't need to use this part, a long time part. I'm also not going to need to or mention again the part she retired. So let's see. She didn't retire from teaching. Let's see if I covered up that part. Until when? We're going to get rid of that. Until she was 75 years old. There we go. We'll go this way. Oh my goodness, 75 years old. If I didn't retire until I was 75 years old, that would mean I was teaching for almost 50 years. Holy moly. Okay. I had curly hair. It changed when I turned 16. So up until a certain point. I had curly hair up until what point? Well, until I turned 16. So let's see what we can cover up. So I had curly hair until I turned 16. That makes sense. Number 4, Tanisha is moving to Texas. She will move back once her dad finishes his program. It looks like lad, but it's dad. So Tanisha is moving to Texas. She will move back once her dad finishes his program. So she's moved to Texas. How long will she stay there? Up until what point? She's going to stay up there until the point that her dad finishes his program. So Tanisha is moving to Texas until her dad finishes his program. And number 5, Kevin worked outside. He stopped when it got dark. So he's working outside until a certain time. What is that? Darkness, right? So he worked outside until it got dark. So using the conjunction until signals to us, remember every word has a purpose, signals to us that these 2 ideas are related, that one is happening up until a certain time, okay? Tanisha's moving to Texas up until the time till her dad finishes his program. I had curly hair up until the time I turned 16. The teacher didn't retire from teaching up until the time she turned 75 years old. And you can stay up to the time of midnight. And that is the conjunction until.